Hello, everyone. This is Deaf and Hard of Hearing Service Center here, and we are doing a holiday celebration with stories. So I'm going to start. Our Mexican family culture celebrates Christmas Eve, the day before Christmas. We make traditional foods such as tamales, pozole soup, barreas. We make a lot of food, and the women are always taking the lead on all of the cooking. It's a lot of work. The men, they are always preparing the tables and the chairs for the family. Also, they are cutting all of the wood for the fireplace. We want a huge fire set up for that. Also, we prepare Oaxaca coffee in a big boiling pot. Again, that's Oaxaca, which is a big boiling pot of traditional coffee. We always bring that coffee, and we have it with Mexican breads on Christmas Eve. We enjoy spending time all together. We introduce new relationships and meeting family members. Also, we are connecting with our culture. We enjoy playing games and talking about memorial family members, like family members who have passed on. We enjoy talking. All the families bring more food out until we are satisfied. And then we will say no thanks and continue eating our traditional foods. We enjoy eating together. We cherish our families with all of our heart, and we enjoy all of the food until we are full. A small Mexican band sings Christmas songs for us, and we enjoy listening to the music and dancing. Everyone is happy. It is our cherished Christmas family tradition. We always give presents to each other to make others happy and excited about the gifts and hug each other. Some people leave for home at midnight. It is extremely late. We always enjoy giving presents to each other to make each other happy and excited about the gifts. Early in the morning, we will kill a live chicken, then boil the fresh chicken and make mole, rice, and beans in different big pots with lots of red spices for our traditional Christmas to eat and celebrate. We really enjoy our celebration. We will hug each other and be so happy again. My family always enjoys our Mexican culture holiday of eating food from our family and giving hugs to each other. We will always cherish each other in my family. I'm going to go ahead and pass it on now to Kayla.
Hello, my name is Kayla. This is my name sign. And I wanted to tell you a story about a Christmas time with Saint Nicholas. It all started on December 5th, 1890, with a young 7-year-old boy named Carl. He woke up on a snowy morning. He was so excited because he knew what was coming tomorrow. His mother came into the room and said, "Good morning, Carl," with a kiss on the cheek. He said, "Good morning, Mom," and his mother looked around his bedroom. It was a little messy with clothes and toys all over the floor. And his mother said, "You know what tomorrow is, right?" Carl said with excitement, "Yes, yes, of course, it's St. Nicholas's Day." And the mother smiled and said, "Yes, you're right. So you have to make sure your room is clean and organized. Make sure all of your toys are clean and put away in the box. Also, don't forget to polish your special shoes for St. Nicholas to find in the morning, okay?" Carl shook his head yes and jumped out of bed to run downstairs to eat his breakfast. After breakfast was done, he went back up to his room and started cleaning. A few hours later, his room was clean and his clean toys were put away where they belong. But he felt like he forgot something. He went to his closet and found his special shoes that needed to be polished. After his shoes were polished and shiny, he went ahead and put the shoes outside by the front door. He could not wait to see what gifts St. Nicholas would bring. Now it's December 6th, St. Nicholas's Day. Carl woke up early to see what gifts he got from St. Nicholas. He ran downstairs and opened the door to see small gifts in his shoes. He went in to sit in the kitchen and began to take out his gifts out of the shoes. He got a couple gold coins, chocolate candies, and also wool socks. He was so excited and started eating some chocolate candy. His parents came downstairs and laughed when they saw him eating his candy. His dad made sure to warn him, don't eat too much before breakfast. His mom said, did you say thank you to St. Nicholas? Carl went outside by the front door and shouted, thank you, St. Nicholas. Out loud and hurried back inside shivering because it was snowing. His mother got his St. Nicholas costume ready. It was a white robe with a red cape and a big red hat. He also had a stick that matched his costume. He couldn't wait to wear it and he told them they will be heading into town to start knocking on doors to ask for treats. His parents approved of his costume, and they got ready to head out. Carl loved St. Nicholas Day. It's his favorite holiday, and he already cannot wait for next year. And that is all of the story. I wanted to let you all know a very interesting fact related to this story. St. Nicholas was first started in Germany, and that actually spread across all other countries. For example, we have Santa Claus and Father Christmas. And St. Nicholas was the original that influenced those other two creations. Interesting, right? Thank you so much for watching. And now I will go ahead and pass it on. Oh, Santa, hi. Santa's saying that was such a beautiful story. Kayla is so gratefully thankful. Santa is saying that warmed his heart. Thank you so much for telling your beautiful story, Kayla. I love you and Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Take care. Bye, Santa, says Kayla.
Now, Angelica's turn. Hi, everyone. Hi there. I'm going to sign my story. So I want to share a story of my Hispanic upbringing. I had 5 brothers and sisters. My parents are hearing, and they moved from Mexico to America. We didn't have Christmas trees growing up. My parents did not know about that, of course. Plus, being able to afford such a thing with such a big family was hard. So my parents thought that they would go ahead and let all of us know. We would go into the living room, where we had the TV, and we would set out our shoes, myself and all my siblings. So we were super excited to do that. We were looking forward to Santa coming over to our house. So we were excited. So then we would go to bed afterwards and sleep all through the night until the morning, and then wake up excited, just ready to go into the living room. So we would go into the living room and see our shoes. And inside the shoes, like on top of the shoes, would be Christmas gifts. We would be so excited. Each of us knew which was each other's. Some were small gifts, some were big gifts, some were medium-sized gifts. And all of us would go in there and tear into the gifts and look at them. And of course, we were curious as to what each other got. So we would open all of our gifts and look at them. And then once we were done, we would start playing with our new toys. That's how I grew up. And in high school, during that time, my parents decided to go ahead and buy a fake Christmas tree. They could afford it then. So all of us would go ahead and decorate the tree together, myself and my siblings and parents. And it was our first time, which was so cool. And then every year from that point on, we had a Christmas tree, and no longer did the shoes in the living room. I actually kind of miss those times, those memories. It was such a good experience with the shoes. But I do have good memories with the Christmas tree as well. So I have memories that are great surrounding both of those experiences. The Christmas tree for my family meant love and happiness and cherishing those memories. I love my family. Then we would make tamales. Growing up, we would always make tamales. First, you would, put the corn on or the mesa, There's different signs for how you do that. My family really enjoyed eating those tamales. Every year growing up, my sister and I would be reminded by Mom, get up. And we would get up early in the morning, like 4 a.m, really early. And my sister and I, what we were supposed to do is go ahead and scoop on the corn mesa onto the corn leaf. It was our responsibility to spread it on there. And that's what we would do. Once we were finished, we would slide it forward. And our table was huge. And so we would my sister and I both would go ahead and spread the corn onto the corn leaves. It would be tiring because we would have to make so many and fill the entire table. The kitchen was almost like a corner. And so we would have all of the tamales still, the corn sitting out. And then once we were finished with that, then we would go ahead and fill it with the different meat fillings: beef, chicken, and pork. So we had the 3 different fillings. So we'd fill up the beef ones, and then the pork, and then the chicken. And then once we were done, we would go ahead and fold them up. My sister and I would be wore out, and we would just be wore out from putting the corn in. Once we were done, we'd go back to bed. Tamales, you know, once we finished the corn part, then my mother would do the fillings. And once she finished doing the fillings and they wrapped up all of the tamales, then she would layer them inside a pot until that pot was full. And then she would go ahead and put a lid on it and then cook it slowly, like on a low boil, and would cook them all day long. Once she was finished, that evening, the whole family would come to enjoy the tamales. Everyone was excited. Oh, they were delicious, having those 3 different kinds. My favorite was the chicken, but we would all eat them. And we would invite our uncle and aunt and cousins to come over and eat the tamales with us. We would chat and enjoy and have fun. Tamales, that's family, you know, that's something we always did on Christmas Day. And I love tamales. I mean, they're delicious. But I did not like getting up early in the morning, doing all of the tamales. You know, cooking tamales you might think is easy. It is not. It is a lot of work, but the outcome, they are delicious. My family really enjoyed getting together on Christmas Day to make the tamales, exchange gifts. We just loved having that family time together growing up. And I'm sure all of you on this line tonight have your own traditions. Maybe you do tamales like I do, or something else. For me, I loved making the tamales, and I miss it because my mom no longer does that anymore. We visit each other, but my mom stopped making tamales. So now I order tamales from a Mexican food store, and they have a family there that makes them, or sometimes I find a friend and their family that make them. You know, but for me, I no longer make tamales. I do want to make them, maybe with some friends. I would enjoy that and continuing that tradition. I do miss it, and I miss the time with family growing up when I look back at that experience. Now I'm going to switch over to the next person.
Hello again. The next story is about Kwanzaa. We tried to find somebody who actually celebrated Kwanzaa, but we weren't able to. So we wanted to share a story specifically about that celebration and that cultural aspect. I have a book that I'll be reading from. The book's name is My First Kwanzaa Book, and it's by Deborah M.
有出现了吗？
When Mama says it's Kwanzaa time, Daddy helps dress up in an African shirt.
翻是翻是翻，前也是翻，然后里翻1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10、11。
And Grandma comes visiting with good things to eat. Delicious. The next day is the first day with the first candle. When Mama says it's Kwanzaa time, Daddy flies our black, red, and green flag. Mama hangs our map of the motherland. The next candle is the green, and that's on December 28th. I help light the colorful Kwanzaa candles. This candle color is red for the third day. When Mama says it's Kwanzaa time, we tell family stories each night to make the holiday special. When Mama says it's Kwanzaa time, Uncle Pretty reads me stories about Africa. When Mama says it's Kwanzaa time, Grandma and I spend time together stringing African beads. And that would make a beautiful African pendant on December 30th. And the candle color is green. When Mama says it's Kwanzaa time, it's time for family reunion with aunts from Georgia, my uncle from the army, and with cousins from all over. On December 31st. And the candle color is red. And on the last day of Kwanzaa, we share gifts and hugs. On January 1st, the candle color is green. The last until the next Kwanzaa comes. And that is a story about how Kwanzaa is celebrated. Thank you everyone for watching, and I will pass it on to the next speaker.
Hi, everyone. Are you ready for my Christmas story? This is a Wintry Rescue, and it is like a Christmas surprise. So a long time ago in the 1900s, there was a heavy, thick, snowy evening in the mountains, and on top was a house. A family of 3 lived there, a father, a mother, and an 8-year-old son, Manichi. The three of them would sit around the hearth, talking and laughing in front of the fireplace. It was a heartwarming scene, which suddenly changes when the excited Bucci, a family dog, drops a hat at the boy's feet. Minichi picked up the hat, confused. Father, realizing someone is in trouble, he and Minichi plunged after Bucci into the stormy darkness. It was cold outside. Following after the dog, the pair were walking out. And as they continued to follow the dog, they found a stranded traveler laying unconscious in the deep snow. They carried the frozen stranger back to the house. Followed by their puppy. Mom started desperately trying to save his life when they brought him into the house. They warmed him with burning bundles of straw in the hearth. After a tense moment, when it looks like all is lost, the traveler finally opens his eyes. He is safe. The traveler is Uchi Gahi, a 50-year-old farmer from a distant village. After much rejoicing at the man's miraculous recovery, they start sharing their religious beliefs with their new friend. He is adherent of the native Shinto faith and is dumbfounded by what he hears. After 3 days of rest, he profusely thanks his rescuers and returns home. Now, jumping ahead to spring, the life for the family is going splendidly. The father is tilling the fields for food and selling for money. Mother is finding and tending to the silkworms, which are woven, making clothes to sell. And Minichi is busy with school. Life takes a sudden tragic turn, though, when father falls mysteriously ill. A doctor is called, and then a pastor, and then a different doctor, but his condition only gets worse. The seasons start changing while the plants are not cared for well, and the silkworms disappear from the surface as the autumn deepens. Father returns from his illness in a wondrous recovery that has everyone shedding tears of joy. However, smiles quickly turn to grimaces at the realization that the fields went unplanted this year and the family has neither money nor food for the coming winter. So sadly, that means little Minichi will have to go without any Christmas presents. It is very sad. Then, on Christmas Eve, the family heard a noise outside and looked out, and there was a group that was coming to view. It was their friend, Gohini, reappearing. The family remembered him from last year during the rescue. He had brought 3 great bags of gifts and 2 large rice bales, toted not by reindeer, but by many people. The family was so excited. Among the presents that the old man brought were new clothes, books, and even money. Christmas was saved, and there was so much rejoicing. Minichi was so excited. He slept through all of the excitement. But like most children on Christmas morning, he was up at the crack of dawn, and to his amazement, he finds his bed surrounded by gifts. He saw that Gohi and the group were gone. He noticed a note on top of the gift. He tried to read it, but in his excitement, he tried to rouse his mother, who firmly refuses to budge from bed after her long ordeal. He has better luck with his father and convinces him to read the note that he found with his presents. The note says, Minichi, I offer you these gifts for helping your father save the life of that traveler. Well done, the old man from the north, Santa Kuro, which means Santa Claus. Now, the next presenter is going to be Ting.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ting Zhao, and I'm from China. Beijing specifically. 2021, I moved back to China so I can care for my family, my parents specifically. That's my dad behind me. Long ago, when I was growing up in China, there was a New Year celebration, and that's the story I want to share with you tonight. Our celebrations happen in December, which is pretty similar to when you celebrate in the US. But we have something called the Growth Festival. And that's not in December, but that's usually held in January to February. And we celebrate something called the lunar celebration. And it's been a tradition for thousands and thousands of years. For 2022, the New Year's celebration will be February 1st. And sometimes these dates change, so you have to make sure you're paying attention to the calendar. But this year, there's going to be a huge change. We have fun headgear that we can wear during our celebration for Chinese New Year. We don't usually do anything like that for the traditional US celebration. And from the ages 18 and prior, similar to gifts in the US, we don't usually give gifts, but we give something called lucky money. And this is what it looks like here. And lucky money is given as a gift during Chinese New Year. And for 8 whole days, everybody has a holiday vacation. So there's no work and we spend a lot of time with family, and we take that money and just pass it around the family. We also sit round table and eat together with typically, 4 people or more. And also, we all collect the money gifts together so that somebody might win it. We have dinners with chicken and fish and rice, and also a lot of other traditional foods. Looking back, I have to say some of the traditions seem to have changed quite a bit. Before, dealing with poverty and the worry, it was always something to sort of hesitate about for the celebration. But next year, we're able to buy all of the kids so many gifts. We won't necessarily do the lucky money gifts. So again, having had that poverty strike us in the past years, we weren't able to afford all of the luxuries that we could now. And so even though lucky money was something that would be, a challenge to win within the family and a fun celebration that we had during the new year, we still celebrate those traditions, but for different reasons. And the word on that poster that I just showed you is just expressing to cherish family and the celebration that we have for the holiday. And every year we also have a different animal for the celebrations as well. And each of those 8 days that we have those vacations, or the holidays rather, we have different activities. On the second day, we would visit family. On the third day, we would have a huge gathering with brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles. Everybody in the family would come. And typically, the bigger the party, the bigger the gathering, the better. If only 1 or 2 people showed up, it didn't feel as fortunate. But with a large gathering and eating together and celebrating together, it's the best. Having all of the good conversations and time well spent with each other, having friends visit. And on the 5th day, everyone will stay home. On day 6, you might go out, you might stay home, hang out with friends. On day 7, you have the rest day. And then on day 8, that would be it. And as far as the lucky money goes, I expect that tradition to go on for many years. Cousins, aunts, uncles, they would give it to you as a gift. And you can buy books, you could buy food. It's really up to you. You can spend it on whatever you want, but it's lucky. And I absolutely love them. It's very exciting to save up and buy something that you would like. But you have to understand, once you happen to find a job and you become employed, you will no longer receive that lucky money. So in the time, it's so great to have that income that you can buy a special gift for yourself. And I think that's all I wanted to share about the Chinese New Year.
Hi. I'm going to tell the story of the Red-Nosed Reindeer. On a cold, cold, cold wintry night in the North Pole, Santa's reindeer shivered while the elves bathed them in the barn. Steam from the hot water formed clouds shaped like toys and candy canes. Again, the steam from the hot water would form clouds, and they were shaped like toys, like dolls, little cars, things like that. Inside the home, Santa Claus was reading the newspaper. It was titled The North Pole Bee. And at the same time, Mrs. Claus was cooking shiny snowman pancakes for the jolly old Santa. Over in the barn, the elves dried off the reindeer with enormous Christmas stockings. One elf to each side of the reindeer, pulling the stocking back and forth until they were dry. One tiny elf poured bowls of reindeer food to get them ready to fly that night. The food was tiny little nuggets in all the colors of the reindeer, with one magic vitamin added to each one of them to give them the power to fly high in the sky. But one elf tripped and dropped one vitamin for Rudolph, watching it bounce into the hay. He checked his pockets and found another one, then thought it was strange that it was a different color. He shrugged and stopped and put it into Rudolph's bowl before the reindeer gobbled up his meal. Rudolph soon had a strange look on his face, and his nose started blinking very, very slowly. Back over at the house, Santa's plate was already clean. In fact, it was so clean, he had licked the plate. "So delicious," he said to Mrs. Claus, ignoring her raised eyebrow. Oops, he realized without saying anything, the pancakes were to be shared. Out in the barn, the tiny elf noticed the red-nosed reindeer's wide eyes and slowly blinking nose. He scratched his head, wondering what was up. Rudolph yawned a huge yawn. Santa Claus was now finished eating and went into his bedroom to change into his favorite Santa red suit with the long black belt and a shiny gold buckle, and his long black boots. He had a very long, shiny white beard and nice sunglasses. He pulled on his hat and popped it up. Trying again a second time, he pulled his hat down until his ears stuck out. Satisfied with what he saw in the mirror, he patted his huge belly. Got the gifts loaded in the bag and got ready to go. But then, before he was going to leave, He went ahead and patted his huge belly and said, ho, ho, ho. Now he was ready to go. He went into the barn. Santa Claus wanted to make sure that all of the reindeer were ready and perfect to fly. He went and checked on all the reindeer to see if they were bathed and fed, and they were bathed and fed. At last, he went to see his favorite red-nosed reindeer, Rudolph. He looked around and around, but Rudolph seemed nowhere to be found. Until finally he came across Rudolph fast asleep in the hay. Santa was thinking, what happened? He started poking Rudolph gently. Wake up, sleepyhead. But the reindeer would not wake up. He was frustrated, so he called out for Mrs. Claus to come. When she arrived, she too could not wake up Rudolph. He was still asleep. She asked the elves, what happened? And all of them at first looked puzzled and embarrassed. Finally, the tiniest elf stepped forward. I did it, Mrs. Claus. Did what? Said Mrs. Claus, looking both curious and stern. The tiniest elf said, it was an accident, I promise. I gave him Mr. Claus's sleeping pill. All of the elves and Santa then slapped their foreheads at the same time, and Mrs. Claus chuckled. She shook her head. A simple problem has a simple answer, she said. And she held out her hand, and in her hand was a magic vitamin. And then the tiny elf knew and gulped. Late that night, Santa flew across the sky on his sled, loaded with presents for children all over the world. The reindeer were all lined up. Leading them onward was the tiny elf wearing the reins, running on air. And his face, he wore a little blinking red light strapped to his nose. Back at the barn, Rudolph slept snoringly happy. Merry Christmas to all.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marielle, and this is my sign name. I wanted to tell you a few different stories. The first one is, well, there are 4 short stories for the Christmas holiday. And each of them are a little short, but they're about the history of the holiday, how it got started, and so on. The first one is about a Christmas tree. and how that idea started to take over for the holidays. Prince Albert, he was the one from Germany. And as he grew up, he got married to a woman who was a queen, Queen Victoria, in fact. And she was from Britain. And they lived in England together. The prince looked out and saw around the pond that was outside that there was a large tree. He decided to chop it down and bring it inside. They ended up decorating the tree so beautifully to their liking, with lights and ornaments. And he decided to show his wife. And of course, Queen Victoria absolutely loved it, and so did their kids. And that was long, long ago. An Illustrated London News shared that story with us about how the Christmas tree originated. And again, that was 1848 that it was published. And that story spread all over the world, and everyone decided to join into that tradition. So it was thanks to that Prince Albert and his wife that the idea of the Christmas tree came about. The second story that I have to share is about the song Jingle Bells. Jingle bells, jingle bells. You all know the song, right? Still a pretty popular one these days. And this is the story about how that song originated. And that also was long ago in the 1800s. Originally, it was actually to celebrate Thanksgiving month. It wasn't for December, it was for November. And when people were coming home from a faraway place, you could hear the bells on the sleighs bringing them in. A man named James Lord Pierpont was the one who wrote the song Jingle Bells, or rather, One Horse Open Sleigh. And this is in 1857. But that song stayed for many years to come. And it just happened to come around Christmas time. It's a very interesting story, right? The third story that I have here is about celebrating Christmas and how it used to be illegal. Did you know that? I had no idea. But as I was doing my research, I figured that out. So long ago, in 1659 to 1681, during that time period, you could not celebrate Christmas. It was illegal. And if you ever saw somebody who was celebrating, you could definitely get them punished. And a lot of the congressmen during that time never celebrated Christmas. That's right. George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, the other founding fathers, they never celebrated. And they just really thought that outside of New England, that's why it became illegal, because the parties were seen as just strange. And the first session that Congress held after the end of the Revolutionary War was on December 25th, 1789, and no one complained. But everything went back to normal. Interesting. The last story I have to share is about candy canes and how those originated. So where exactly are they from? It just so happens that they are from Germany. Since around the many years ago, they would give these candies to young children. And it was because there was long church services going on. They wanted to make sure that children stayed quiet. So a German and Swedish man immigrated, and he decided to create his own. He decided to make the cane shape for the candy so they can hang it on the trees. And after that, they became popular as a Christmas candy. And that was since 1847 that tradition has gone on all over, especially here in the US. That's awesome. And those are my 4 short stories that I wanted to share with you. I thought they were really interesting, and hopefully you think so too. Thank you. On to the next. And I will actually go on with another story that I have. And it's about myself and growing up in Mexico. I was in Mexico at the time of Christmas celebration. I was a young girl, and my mom, she would always take us out of school during the full December month, the entire month. And the reason for that was because we had the Mexico celebration holiday that started on December 3rd. And that went to January 6th. I would go to my hometown for the first 2 weeks to see family. There weren't many people in the town. It was a little bit more quaint. But it was perfect because you could set up so many things out on the land. It had so many hills that you could go hiking and traveling on. You could also honor the Virgin Mary. And that's from December 3rd to the 12th. And I loved it to go hiking. You didn't even have to pay to go on any of these excursions, so I would go almost every day. It was so enjoyable. And again, that was for the full 2 weeks. We would also have a celebration on each of the days, and it would depend on whatever day we were on that we would have a specific celebration. So for example, we might have a parade. There were children involved, there were younger, teenagers, some adults. And they would also carry banners with them during the parade. And I remember my sister and I were actually involved, and we got to carry flowers in the parade, as well as the banner. And any person, if they wanted to join in, they could during that march. There was a road that led the way, and everybody band together and grouped together. Sometimes it would be a short ways, and other times it would be a very long parade. And really, all of these celebrations were so nice. There was also depictions of Jesus and Mary that we got to see for the holidays. And towards the end of the parade, there would always be a man on a horse with a lasso. So we would start the parade far away sometimes and lead all the way up to the church. And once we arrived, we would set off fireworks, and I remember they were so loud, but it was really interesting and it was so beautiful. And I remember enjoying it so much. And after the events were finished, we got to go home if you wanted to, or you could stick around. And then for the following 2 weeks, do you remember that I mentioned that we could go hiking? Well, we also got to see vendors and markets. They would have food that they were selling, different products that they had made. And again, it didn't cost a thing to go into these events. So you got to go and mosey around and see what everyone was selling. And I would write down a list, a Christmas wish list almost, of things that I wanted. So I would go and shop around and check those things off of my list. And around December 24th for Christmas Eve, we would usually go out to the streets, and we would set up these tables and just have a huge meal with fruit and salads and different traditional foods. Oh, it was awesome. And drinks as well. It was so nice, and the celebration was so enjoyable. And it was also really nice because if people were driving around on that street and they saw a celebration was going on, they wouldn't bother to ask us to move. They would just find another way to go where it was that they were going. So once the meal had finished up, we got to go out and party together. We also had a fireplace set up where you can warm yourself. You know, it's chilly outside. We would dance and converse and just spend time with each other. And sometimes the neighbors would join along. Didn't have to be immediate family. And then later that night, when the clock struck 12, we would have a family gift exchange. And sometimes the neighbors would also join in. But again, so much fun. If people wanted to continue the celebration, dancing and eating and being with one another, that was totally okay as well. And we also would leave our Christmas tree up until January 6th, which I know some people might not be aware of the reason. But January 6th is related to the Three Kings. And the 5th of January, we would make sure that we were all tucked away in bed so that we could listen to see if we could hear reindeers outside that were bringing us gifts from the Three Kings. We were so excited to wake up the next morning. It was everything that you had imagined on your wish list, and they were all brought from the Three Kings. We would eat breakfast together, and then we would go have a final march, a final parade. And sometimes we would have music included in those marches. And we would basically send off the Three Kings. We'd have them in the parade and we got to wave to them and see them. But again, that was for the entirety of that December month, just a full-on celebration. And honestly, it's one of my most cherished memories from my tradition. And now I'm here. It's really influenced my family and my children, all of those traditions that I had growing up. And really, I enjoyed sharing this story. So thank you so much for letting me share.
Hi, Marielle. Hey there. I really enjoyed your story. Wow, I loved it. It was so interesting. I'm curious, do you mind sharing just one more story? You know, a story about Hanukkah? Do you mind? Oh, I have a story. Sure, I can go ahead and tell a story about Hanukkah. I would love to do that. Would you like me to do it now? Yes, please. Okay, perfect. I will. Okay, so yes, I have a book here. It's Hanukkah Lights, Hanukkah Nights, written by Leslie Kimmelman. And this is the book right here. I'm excited. It's such a sweet story. The family, which included aunts and uncles and cousins, would all come over and help celebrate Hanukkah. You can see the family here. Oh, it's so exciting when everybody gathers together. The first night of Hanukkah, you would light the one candle. That was the first night. And they'd all get together and do shamash and celebrate Hanukkah. Then the second evening of Hanukkah, we had the next light, and they would light the candle. And then grandma would make a chicken soup that was so delicious. And the other grandma would take a sip of the delicious chicken soup as well. Oh, grandparents are enjoying that. So, second evening of celebration of Hanukkah. Now it's the third night. So we light the third candle, and Auntie starts doing chants for Hanukkah. The fourth night, so again, the fourth night, you see the girls, which are like the nieces, they're all playing. They are playing with dreidels. What's that? That's like a top. It has like 4 rings around it, and then you spin it. And so that's what they were playing, and they were enjoying themselves. They light the fourth candle for the fourth night of Hanukkah. You see the boys outside, they're playing. What are they doing? They are fighting like Maccabees. So they're just playing. They light the candles. We have the 4, and now we're on the 5th. So it is the 5th night of Hanukkah. Now it's the uncles. And what are they doing? They're cooking up potato latkes and enjoying their evening. And they light the next candle, which is the 6th night candle for Hanukkah. What are the kittens doing? Oh, they're playing. They're batting back and forth. Chocolate gelt. It looks like candy, little gold pieces of candy, and they're playing with it and batting it back and forth, and they are playing and playing. We light the 7th candle for the 7th night of Hanukkah. All of the cousins all get together and they are singing and enjoying holiday songs. They light the 8th candle for the 8th night of Hanukkah. So now all 8 of those candles are lit for Hanukkah. And they are shining bright and saying Happy Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah. That's the end of my story. It's super cute. I really like this story. All of the candles are shining brightly. I am finished and I'm going to turn this over to, hey!
Ho. How are you, Marielle?
Excited to see you.
Oh, you did such a wonderful job storytelling. I was thinking, I wanted to know what you wanted for Christmas this year.
I want more people to sign some more stories.
Yes, and they're so beautiful. It really touches my heart.
Yeah, thanks.
And I wanted to see if somebody else is willing to share with me their Christmas wish. Kayla, how about you?
Hi,
How are you?
Sarah. I'm good. It's good to see you again.
Good. And you also had such beautiful stories to share with everyone. Again, so heartwarming.
Thank you. Thank you for watching.
Of course. And thank you for having me. What is your Christmas wish this year?
Oof, that's a tough one. Let me think. I hope for Christmas that my family is able to get together and visit, like with my son's fiance, and we can all get together and watch movies. I hope for Christmas they can come. So we'll see.
Oh, yes. And I will blink it into existence.
I hope it happens.
You have to wait and be patient until Christmas Day, though.
I will. Thank you, Santa.
Thank you for inviting me, Kayla. Merry Christmas. Who's next? What about you, Crystal? Hello. And how are you?
Hi. I'm good. I'm so excited.
Oh, good. Your signing skills were fantastic. I want you to share with me what your Christmas wish is for this year.
Well, I have 2. I would like to be Santa like you and be able to go around,
Oh,
see my hat.
and I can also make one specially for you.
Oh, please. Thank you so much.
I'll make sure everybody writes that Christmas wish down.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited.
Well, Merry Christmas and happy holidays as well.
Merry Christmas and happy holidays to you as well.
Angelica, hello.
Hi there. Oh, so I'm so excited to see you, Santa.
Yes.
Really.
And you
You're
have
deaf?
reindeer antlers? Yes, I'm a deaf Santa. That is correct. And I see you have some antlers on your head.
These are real antlers, and I have been such a good girl, Santa.
Well,
So I think you will be giving me a lot of gifts, right? A lot of them, because I've been good.
always, as long as you're good. If you're good and not naughty, of course, no coal for you this Christmas.
Oh, you know me. I've been good. I've been good.
Let me check my
And
list.
I'm ready. I have a long list.
Yes, and it looks like you are on the good list. Very well done.
Oh, I've got a long list of things that I want. Are you ready for it? It's very long. You might want to get a pencil.
Oh, let me get my things situated here.
I'm so excited. Okay. So what would I like for Christmas? Okay, the first thing is to ride with you on the sleigh. And then I also want to be able to go to the beach.
Yes, very well.
Enjoy. It's cold here. I want to go where it's warm. And then I want to go on a deaf cruise. That would be so cool and so fun. And Santa, you're welcome to join me.
Of course, if I have the time and the weather is right.
Oh yeah, it's cold here, but not there.
Oh, yes, but cruises are so awfully warm.
Oh yeah. What's wrong? Yeah, we gotta, you gotta take off all of that, like shave and everything when you go.
No, I have to keep my beard. I love it. And the children recognize me this way.
Okay, we'll leave you as is. Next, I want a new bicycle.
A bike, you say? Elves, do you hear this? Angelica needs a new bike. Write that down.
Yes, I do. And then I would like a horse, like a fun horse to be able to race with. Not a fake one. I want a real horse.
Oh,
Real one.
a real horse. I'll put that down.
And then I would like all of my friends and families to get together and celebrate Christmas. And then I want to be able to see everyone, and be able to wave as you leave and you say, ho, ho, ho. I want to be able to wave goodbye.
Ho, ho, ho. And yes, isn't family one of the most important things during the holidays?
I'm not finished. I have more on my list.
I mean, you can keep going. I can write it all down for you.
Oh, yeah. I can tell you more. I just want to make sure you write everything down. I'm going to give you lots and lots of ideas. I have lots.
Well, I have a huge list. I'm magical. Remember, I know all of what you want for Christmas.
Okay. Well, thank you, Santa.
Thank
Bye.
you. Goodbye. And who have I missed, if anyone? Do we have Ting here? Hi, Ting.
Hi.
And how are you?
I'm fine.
Good. You had a beautiful story you shared about your culture. That was so wonderful.
Thank you.
Made me very happy. Having the connection between the two cultures is such a wonderful thing. So thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you.
Would you like to tell me what you want for Christmas this year?
Christmas. Well, I wish I was with my parents and all my family being together. I really cherish and love them. I want that time together, but it's an expensive time. It's so expensive. And my parents are elderly, so I want to be able to enjoy that time with them.
I understand.
So I'm not going to see them during Christmas time. I'm going to wait, and then maybe next year in 2022, when we celebrate the new year in February, I'll be able to see them.
Yes, and that's so important. Let me make sure my elves know that as well. She can visit her family for the holidays, and that's a very important ask, so make sure we have it written down perfectly.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And is there anyone left here? Oh, Maria.
Hi, Santa.
You're back again.
Yes. I found my list. I must go back. Do you mind? Do you mind? Okay. Let's see. What I wish for is for me to be able to go and visit different cultures, lots of different cultures and different celebrations. Can I do that?
That's a neat request. Give me one moment. Elves, do you have that down? Good, good. All right, I will make that happen this Christmas for you.
I have another one. I want to be able to go to my home and hear the stories with my children and make sure they follow all of the rules.
And again, so important, family, don't you think?
It's very important. I want all of the kids, to be able, I want to be able to see all of the kids.
Exactly, and communicate as a unit.
Yes, yes. So I'm waiting for that connection. I'm watching. I
have the elves. Make sure you write that down. I've got it all handled for you, Marielle. Thank you.
Do you need the GPS unit? The coordinates?
Yes, of course.
I've got more. I have more here. See all these Post-its? I've got more.
Goodness, it's a long list you've got there. Wonderful.
I would like a nice new...
A new car? And what kind of car?
Well, I'm deaf, so I want it to be able to have flashing lights, alarms, I want to be able to know who's around me. I want all of that. I want this to be a very special car for a deaf person. I want it to be unique.
I see.
Kind of like Batman, you said. Yeah, like that.
Like Batman. Give me one moment. Elves, a shiny new car from Marielle. Do you have that down? We'll see what happens. I'm sure my magic can make something work for you.
Beautiful.
And I think we have one more that you can share with me. I know your list is so long.
Okay, I got to figure out which is best to share. Let me see. I'm looking. Got this one. This one. Okay, this one's important.
Go on.
Free food. I don't want to have to pay for any food. Can you do that?
Free food.
Yes.
Give me one minute to put that down. Do you think we could situate free food for the holidays? All right.
Thank you for answering.
That all ready for you, Marielle. Of course, and make sure you save that list for to come.
Yep, I know it's a long list, so save it all.
Oh, and Santa knows. Thank you, Marielle. Merry Christmas and happy holidays.
Thank you.
Now we have Crystal again.
I'm just curious about life in the future and being able to travel like in a cruise.
Denny, right?
Yeah.
Let me get that down on my list here for you. Let me check. Yes, and on the good list, of course. Wonderful.
Hi, Santa.
Hi, how are you? What is your sign name?
Well, my name's Donnie. This is my sign name.
Oh, wonderful. And what would you like for Christmas this year?
Some of the stuff from way back is fascinating to me.
Oh, so historical things. And what exactly do you mean by that? Anything specific?
European or anything from, that's historical.
All right, I will make sure my elves have that down for you. Thank you for sharing. Merry Christmas and happy holidays, Donnie.
Merry Christmas and happy holidays, Santa. Hi, that's it. Thank you so much, Santa. Merry Christmas.
Now, I think I have talked to everybody about their Christmas wishes. So did we all enjoy storytelling? I know we had many different Christmas experiences and cultures and everything else in between. And I would like to introduce myself. I am Santa and I'm from the North Pole. And I just have to say, all of your stories were so touching. I love the Christmas cheer and all of you taking the time to share with us. And if you know anyone who happened to miss this particular storytelling event, make sure you let everyone know. Thank you so much and have a wonderful night, a Merry Christmas and happy holidays to